Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Newman, and today we're going to talk about Notocactus leninghausii. So don't forget to get yourself a coffee, relax, and enjoy the program. Hi again, and today Notocactus leninghausii care. So we're going to break this into 3 parts so that if you want to just fast forward you can do it. So the first part will be about its habitat, second part will be its cultivation, and the third part is how to water your Notocactus leninghausii. So first of all, we're going to start off with part 1. I have my notes here, just so as I don't forget what to talk about. But Notocactus leninghausii is endemic to the Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil. It occurs at elevations of 300 to 1,300 meters above sea level, and it grows on hilly grasslands and cliff walls, between cracks and rocks, and in the shade of growing under other plants such as pine forests. It grows in one of the most temperate regions in Brazil, and so it experiences temperatures down to freezing or just above freezing during the winter. Summers there are generally cloudy, cool, never gets too hot, and that's the rainy season. The winters there are very dry, sunny, and can get right down to almost 0 temperatures. So on the screen here you'll see an image coming up pretty soon of Notocactus leninghausii in habitat. And as you can see there, it's growing on a cliff, the face of a cliff, and you can see other shrubs and that trying to germinate in and around them. And you can see one that's grown really long or tall, and then it's kind of flopped over and growing along the ledge and then making its way back up onto the rock face. And if you just go above that, there'll be jungle right up on the top of the cliff there, and further down below, right down at the bottom of the cliff, down in the bottom there's a lot of vegetation and a lot of fog. It's kind of foggy and humid. So Notocactus is not shy of humidity either. So generally over here in Japan, people grow theirs outdoors during the summertime, plenty of humidity, and they like it a lot. Anyway, another thing is that the soil there is well drained and has a fairly high organic content consisting of rotten leaf matter. Everyone kind of still knows this cactus for its old name, Notocactus leninghausii. And as you can see in the photo, small plants start off solitary, then they start to branch and clump. And that's the end of part 1, and we're going to get on with part 2. Hi, part 2 of looking after or caring for Notocactus leninghausii. And in this part we're going to talk about cultivation. So first of all, frost tolerance. Well, I've had mine outdoors with a thick tarpaulin cover, kind of the see-through thick polythene plastic cover that I temporarily put around my table so that it's not touching the cactus and it resembles a mini greenhouse. And I've gotten right down to -4 to -8 degrees during the night. However, day temperatures will climb back up to about 10 degrees, which is still cold, and there's a lot of sunlight. So the sunlight tends to have the adverse effect, and it'll heat the greenhouse up quite hot during the day, and then it'll return back falling down to freezing temperatures. Something to have in mind. And let's see. This cacti appreciates full sun, but avoid the hottest parts of the summertime, where you should give it a little shade. Discussing the growing medium, I can go through into detail about that, but if you go into my Instagram, which is going to pop up on the screen now, and if you go to my posts, I've reposted an old post about growing mediums. So that consists of equal parts river sand or pumice. In Japan I use akadama, and that's a red kind of volcanic clay. It's very crumbly. It kind of resembles topsoil, although this is doesn't have any organic matter in it. It is solely clay, very low in organics but high in mineral content. It retains water, also any excess water will pass straight through it, so it has a high oxygen ratio. Gets a lot of oxygen through to the soil, and the cacti love to grow in it. Another product that I use is Kanuma, which is similar to pumice, except that this product is crumbly. It can crumble in your fingers like soil, and it also, just like akadama, it helps to keep the soil on the slightly acidic side, which is ideal for cacti. So you can check that out on my Instagram. But generally, if you don't have all of those products available, you can use equal parts perlite and average potting mix. But I would use a sieve to sieve out all the bark, chips and all of that, and I would only use the finer leftover material to mix with the pumice or perlite. And the reasons for that is because if it's high in organic matter that hasn't fully rotted and is still trying to rot, well, then it can attract a lot of fungi and bacteria, which can spread onto the roots and kill your cactus, because they're not used to growing they're used to growing in something that's well composted but not actually rotting. It's just to be on the safe side. And anyway, that discusses the cultivation part. And if you want to stay tuned for part 3, we're going to be getting on and talking about the how to water. Alright, so I'll see you back soon. Okay, welcome back. Part 3, I'm going to talk about how to water Notocactus leninghausii. As you can see here, this cactus is growing really well. It's well hydrated. It's growing in a terracotta pot. I prefer terracotta. The reason is because it breathes more and it gets rid of built up excess moisture faster than if it's in plastic. Also, because of the climate here, it tends to get to 35, it can get up to 40 degrees Celsius. And terracotta, if you happen to water it the night before and the day comes, when the sun actually shines onto terracotta, it's got more of a cooling effect. So the water in the terracotta meeting the breeze or the sunshine, it won't have a terrible, it won't heat right up and cause burning inside the pot. It'll actually do the opposite. It'll keep it cooler. Whereas plastic is kind of like, well, if you water your plant and then it's in the sunshine, plastic will actually boil the roots if it's in any kind of direct sunshine. So I recommend terracotta if you've got a lot of direct sun going on your pots. Yeah. So I recommend that. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So water your Notocactus once every 2 weeks, or when the soil is completely dried out. For larger pots, like 4-inch, which is something kind of this size, or bigger, or even taller, you might have to wait longer. It just depends. So you might have to wait up to 3 to 4 weeks, because it's still holding a lot of moisture right down inside the pot, mainly at the bottom, which the cactus needs to use up. So as a rule, let the soil dry out in between waterings. And how about in winter? What do you do then? Well, that's kind of an interesting subject, and I tend to agree with only one, and that is they do need water in the winter, because they do get it naturally in their habitat. And another reason is that, like any plant, if you don't water it for months on end, all of the root system will die back. And once it dies back, that's going to turn into compost or start rotting. And so what's going to happen then is, when it comes to watering it, you're going to water your cactus and you're going to notice that it's not plumping back up, and the water's still, that's a fungus gnat. Yeah, you'll notice that once you start watering it, and it's during the winter time, and your cactus has gone wrinkly, and you're just trying to rehydrate it a little bit, it won't happen. And the growing medium will still be wet. All of those desiccated or dead roots will start rotting, and it'll be like a big compost heap inside there. And then all the bacteria and fungi will spread to your cactus and rot it. So it's important that even though it's winter and the cactus has slowed down its metabolism, not growing so much, it still needs water to have a happy, good and healthy root system. So I recommend, if you're in a climate that's of course dry in winter, dry, sunny, with low humidity, I would water it once a month with a spritz. So it's not a deep watering, it's just kind of, if I had my watering can here, for example, and I got this big, 4-inch terracotta pot, you can imagine the water coming out of here. I would go 1, 2, 3, something like that, 3 times around, and that would be enough to keep the roots active, healthy and growing and not dying back. Also rehydrate the cactus. For those of you that come from a climate where the winter times tend to be high humidity, a lot of rainfall and not much sunshine at all, well then I would say that you would have to go by touch, by putting your finger into the soil and seeing if it's moist. And if you do detect moisture on your finger, or putting a skewer in there, maybe a chopstick, pulling it out and checking it that way, and if you notice that there's moisture in there and the plant's still well hydrated, then I would delay the watering and probably do it during the weather in winter when it's more sunny. Because you've got to be careful. Yeah. Over here right now we got kind of the monsoon season, so opposite of those of you that have a wet winter, we have a kind of a wet summer. So I let it dry right out thoroughly, but not to the point that it's going to cause the root system any problems. Okay, and so that we've discussed everything, all about the watering, and thanks for joining me today, and I hope you learned something. And please give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and please subscribe if you want to see more content. I will discuss anything from orchids through to pothos, succulents, even Hoyas. I will do a program about that, if you have any suggestions, maybe there's something that you would like to learn about more, please leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Anyway, thanks for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed. You like my cactus cup mug? Yeah, it's a nice one, right? I got it when I was 21 years old, all the way back then. Anyway, catch you next time, and see you. Bye.